Hey guys, it's your boy Jay, and this is Football Talk. And in this one, I am back with another college football reaction. But this one's a little bit something different because these are tips to winning your game. I'm very interested in this right here, and I know some of you guys out there have probably rage quit, thrown a couple of controllers. I know the game, well, for pretty much everybody else, the game just came out yesterday. For others, it's been out this whole week. But for others, it just came out yesterday, and I can bet you for a fact it's been a lot of broken controllers. I could definitely that's a fact. It's been a lot of broken controllers. But you guys that are watching my channel, do not break your controllers. Do not break something that's you gonna look at like, why I do that? Why I get that mad? Nothing should make you that mad, right? For you to break something. I don't care what it is. Come on now. You gotta think before you get to that point. But before I hop into this, I'm gonna need you guys to hit that like button on for your boy and go ahead and subscribe because it's not only helping me out, it's helping you guys out as well. Because every time you subscribe, you get a new video. It's a win-win situation in my playbook. But without further ado, though, let's jump right into it.
If you're having trouble in college football 25 or you just haven't played a football game in a while, don't worry, I'm here to help you. These are 10
Yeah, it's a
beginner
lot of
tips
people
you
that
need to
haven't
know. And if you don't want to miss out on all the
played
best
in a
college football
while.
25 tips all year long, make sure to subscribe and put the bell icon on so you never miss any of these important videos. Number 1, passing 101. These are the different types of passes you can do. You can do a lob pass, which you get by tapping the receiver's icon really quickly. It's going to throw the ball up in the air.
Okay, so
and
that's
this is
how you
typically what you're
lob.
going to use on a deep pass like this when you have the defender beat and you're just trying to throw it out in front for a big play. The next type of pass is a touch pass, which you get by holding down the receiver's icon for literally like a millisecond and then letting go of it. You'll notice with the
Okay.
passing system, the meter will fill up. The more that meter fills up, the less trajectory the ball has. So you can see with these passes, we're filling it up about halfway, which allows us to loft the ball a little bit in the air, but it's not quite as much trajectory as a full lob pass. Now, this is something you like to use if you want to just drop the ball in the bucket, like right here, over the linebackers, but also stay in front of the safeties. Not quite a lob, but you don't want to put full power on it either. And the last type of pass is a bullet pass, which you get by holding down the receiver's icon the entire way. Now, keep in mind with the revamped passing system in college football 25, you can have inaccurate passes if you bullet pass kind of like this right here. So if you want to kind of avoid some of those difficulties or you just don't like the pass meter, you can turn off revamped passing and go back to classic passing. This will give you less ball trajectory, but it's a little bit easier to understand. So basically, you can either tap for a lob here, which is similar to the revamped passing. You can hold for the split second and let go for a loft or a touch pass, just like the other passing system. And you hold down the receiver's icon for a bullet. The difference here, like I said, is you don't get the better trajectory.
Now with the revamp passing, I've seen a couple videos and it's still, people are getting used to it, of course, but I like it personally. A lot of people are saying this ain't NBA, but me personally, I like. And didn't Madden introduce something like with a meter or something like that? Like, am I just like thinking of something else? Like, I feel like, what was it, last year before last, they introduced something that like has the meter thing. So I mean, people are going to complain, I guess you could say. People are just going to complain. But I do feel like it probably get taken a little bit to get used to, just like the kicking meter.
But you don't have to worry about a meter and trying to time things perfectly. Now let's talk about the different types of catches. You can do a catch and run, which you get by holding down the X button on Xbox or the square button on PlayStation. This is what you're going to do when
I
you're
have
over the
not
top,
seen
or
a
if you're going side to
PlayStation
side like this. If you have a
video.
step on the defender and you're trying to lob it in there, catch it and run for extra yards. The next type of catch is a possession catch or a secure catch, which you get by holding the A button on Xbox or the X button on PlayStation. This is especially important by the sideline. It'll tell your receiver to just secure the ball, get his feet in bounds, and brace for hits. He's not going to try to get any extra yardage. He's just going to catch the ball, secure it, make sure his feet are in bounds, and he's going to get down like this in between zones. The last type of catch is called an aggressive catch, which you get by pressing the Y or triangle button. This will have the receiver jump in the air and try to attack the ball at its highest point. This is something you use one-on-one when you're trying to throw a 50 ball, but keep in mind this is very risky. They don't work very often, and you really should only use it as a bailout if you make a bad read. Now, the next part of passing 101 is don't predetermine your reads like this. Don't just lock in on a receiver and throw it because you might turn it over. Try to read everything on the field. Pay attention mostly to the receivers closest to you. If they're open, just hit them with a pass, get easy yards, and keep it moving. You want to read short to deep. So if your short options are open, just take them and don't try to do too much. You want to get the ball
Thank
quick,
you.
avoid sacks, avoid getting hit,
I am
and you
so
wanna
glad
just
somebody
make
else has
safe
said
plays.
that.
You also want to climb
The
the
running
pocket
back
to the
is
best of your
open,
ability, just like
about
this. And when you do this,
95% of the
it opens
time,
up running lanes
90%.
a lot as well when you can take off. Just remember to slide slide with your QB, of course, but you don't want to be drifting around or back
Wait,
like
how
this
do you
because
slide?
it puts you in the lanes of the pass rushers. It makes it hard to get passes off. It makes it easy to get sacked. But if you step up in the pocket and set your feet, you're going to deliver more accurate passes and the ball is going to get to the receiver quicker. And again, if you're climbing the pocket, you're going to have the opportunity to scramble when it's available. This is something you want to get familiar with in practice mode, but once you get down climbing the pocket and just being confident, you can make big plays just like that. Number 2, running 101. So first, let's talk about the ball carry moves. You can juke by flicking the right stick to the left or the right to do a little sidestep juke like that.
Stick
Now, if you want a
movement.
better juke, you can hold down the sprint button, which is the R2 or RT button while juking, and you're going to get a more exaggerated juke. The other move you really want to know about is the spin. You get this by pressing the B or circle button. The spin move and the juke are both pretty good in this game. And just like with the juke, you can do a more exaggerated spin by holding down the
juke is
sprint button
filthy.
while spinning, and you're going to cover more ground and
Oh.
make defenders miss you a lot easier. If you want to hurdle somebody, you're going to press the Y or triangle button. I don't really use this a whole bunch, but at times it can be useful when
Yeah,
a player's
it-
trying to hit you low. To stiff arm,
you
wanna
gotta
press
do
the
it
A button
right.
on
It's
Xbox
like
or the X
it-
button on PlayStation, and this can help you
tough
get some
one.
extra yards and break tackles. Another important thing to know is giving yourself up. So if you want to go down and avoid hits, you tap the X or square button very quickly. And if you want to dive at the pylon
Okay,
to try to score,
that's a
you
good
will
one right
hold
there.
the X or square
Say
button.
you wanna,
Now,
like,
running
tick
the
out,
ball is
like,
very important,
let
just
the
like
clock,
with passing. Don't really
tick.
predetermine where you're going to go. Try your best to read your blockers and see what's
Damn,
open.
that's
Do not
different.
hold the sprint button behind the line of scrimmage because that causes the defense to block shed a lot quicker. What you
Oh
wanna do
my
is you only want to hold
God.
the sprint button once you're clearly in the open
Bruh, I'm listening to what he's saying, but guys, look
and
at
see what's
this.
open. Do not hold the sprint button behind the line of scrimmage because that causes the defense to block
Dude was literally at eye level. He juked him so much. This dude, he at least about 3 or 4 yards behind him. He warped behind him. He went to another universe behind him.
shed a lot
These
quicker.
stick
What
movements
you
is
want to do
filthy.
is you only want to hold the sprint button once you're clearly in the open field and you're trying to pull away. So right here, for example, is when I would now sprint because I'm trying to pull away once I'm at the second level. You don't want to do this behind the line.
That's
of
something
scrimmage.
I had to
You
get
face it
used
behind
to
the
in
line of scrimmage,
Madden,
and
like not
sometimes there's
using the
not gonna
sprint
be
button
a
as soon as
lane
I'm
to just
running.
pull away in. Sometimes you're only going to get a couple yards, but in the event that you have it, you pull away just like this once you've gotten to that part of the field. Now under center, you're going to want to look at runs like halfback dives, inside zones, stretches. Those are going to be your best. Now for shotgun, you're going to want to look for plays like inside zone, or you're going to want to look at a play like a halfback base. Those are going to be your better shotgun runs. And the same principles apply. Just be patient, read the lanes, only press the sprint button if you're in the open field. And of course, we've got to talk about options because this is college football. You can go to the concept tab on your playbook. You can go down to option, and there's a bunch of different types of options.
Ooh,
Read
this is
options,
something I need to
RPOs.
to
like the load and
understand.
speed options the best. I think they're the easiest to run and they get good yards. More times than not, you're going to pitch the ball in the option, and you do this by holding the LB or L1 button, and this is what you're going to get. You're going to get the open field with the running back, and typically you're going to pick up big yards with this. I think this is a very, very good type of run that a lot of people
Okay, so it does
simply
show the
don't
icon.
know how to defend. You can keep it with the quarterback if you see the defender starts to cheat to the running back. I still pitch the ball a lot on this because even when they do cheat to the running back, they don't fully commit a lot of times, and you're able to pick up big yards. Now, really quickly, I did want to mention that I do have a membership where I break down the highest level tips for college football, and I do the same for Madden as well. The best schemes, ebooks, the best defenses, and all the top level tips that will help you win more games. If you want to check that out, the link is in the pinned comment below. Number 3, how to beat man defense. So the first route we're going to look at is a
Oh my
halfback angle
goodness.
route or a Texas route. Some
I
plays
ain't gonna lie,
come with
man
this stop,
defense
and you can
should not
absolutely
be
cook
done
linebackers,
on certain
especially
teams.
with a good running back. But you can also hot route this on any play by pressing the wire triangle button, select the running back's icon, and then press up on the D-pad for the Texas option. You can do this on literally any play in the game, so this is always available to you, and it's going to be one of the best ways to cook man defense in this game. Another great option, especially from
two
slot
people?
receivers, are zig routes. So we can put our slot receiver here on a zig route by pressing the wire triangle button to pull up our hot route. We select his icon, and then we look for the zig option on our hot route, which is going to be left on the D-pad for this receiver, and you'll see that he fakes inside, cuts back to the outside, and this is one of the best man-beating routes in the game. Another route that's really consistent against a man usually is going to be slant route. So I'm going to put my slot receiver on a slant by pressing wire triangle, selecting his icon, and then we look for the slant option here, which is right on the right stick. Sometimes it'll be a different part of the joystick depending on which side of the field he's on, but this can typically do pretty good against man, especially if you have a good receiver. Just throw the ball out in front, catch and run for big yards. Another good man-beating option
Okay, out
are
in
deep cross
front.
routes. So here in the play verticals, we can see that red
to
deep
know.
cross. Those are really good. Now you can hot route these as well, but they come stock on a lot of plays too, and these are typically going to do really good at beating man. Now, really quickly, if you're still enjoying enjoying the content, I'm going to ask you once again to subscribe because I'm going to have the best college football tips all year long for you guys. Number 4, how to beat zone defense. So to beat zone defense, one of my favorite things to do is to have 3 receiving options on one side of the field. So you can see here in trips tight end, we have 3 receiving options on the left side of the field. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hot routes. I'm going to put the Y receiver on the zig route, and I'm going to put my X receiver on a curl. So this is kind of a curl flat concept here where one of them should be open against zone. So if the zones play standard and they play back, we can hit that zig for about 4 to 5 yards. But if they play more aggressive and they shade their zone defense down, then the curl will be wide open behind it, just like this. Another great option for beating zone is flooding it. Now, a popular flood concept with 3 receivers on one side of the field is a streak corner flat. So we're going to put X on a streak. We can put Y on a zig or a standard flat. I like the zig just in case it's man defense. He can beat that too. And we put the B receiver on a corner. You can hot route all of these by pressing Y or triangle and selecting their icons. Now, what this does here is it gives us a high-low. We got the flat underneath, which will beat standard zones, but you're going to also have the corner route that, because it's a deep corner, it'll beat some standard zones, but it'll also beat aggressive zones as well. And the streak is back there to clear out the deep guy, leaving the corner open on the sideline. So this is a great way to attack zone coverages. And whether it's man or zone defense, we got to talk about this play, the jet touch pass. It's in pretty much every playbook, usually in multiple formations. So look through your playbooks and see which formations have the jet touch pass. Usually they're in pistol or shotgun. And this is one of the best plays you can run in this game. The blocking is just out of this world on this play. The defense struggles to stop this play. You got to play against a pretty good user in order for them to stop this.
Look at this.
Whether they're in
you
man,
gotta be
whether
patient.
they're in zone, whether they're blitzing, playing all-out coverage.
For the people that have not been able to succeed with this, you gotta be patient.
Just follow the blocks and get big yardage. And to go along with that, halfback slip screens are the same as well. You can find these in pretty much any formation in your playbook. You do need to get the ball out quick. You want to make sure not to get sacked, but these work especially well versus zone
Screen
defense.
pass is one of my favorite plays if you're new to my channel.
Defense sometimes as well, but these are very good in this year's game. And if you're a beginner, you want to use these types of plays, low risk, high reward, to move the ball.
And with college
Number 5, defense.
Okay, before he goes to number 5, the defense, I'm not really a defensive player. Most of my skill level is on the offense. I'm solid at defense. You know, I can here and there I got some plays. I make some plays on defense, but I'm just gonna sit and listen. I'm probably not gonna pause it or anything like that. I'm just gonna listen to this because your boy is not that
101. So the first thing you need to know about defense is you want to wait for your opponent to pick their play because it'll let you know what their personnel is. So if they're coming out in a formation that has 2 or less wide receivers, you're going to want to use a formation like a 4-3, a 3-4, maybe a 5-2, or depending on your playbook, you might have 4-4 and 4-2-5. You want to use those types of formations because if they're coming out in 2 or less receivers, they're probably running the ball, so you want to have bigger bodies on the field. Now, if they're coming out in 3 or 4 receiver sets, you can use nickel or dime. Nickel is going to have 3 cornerbacks on the field. A dime is going to have 4 cornerbacks on the field. So basically, you just want to match up speed for speed. If they have 3 receivers, typically you want to go with a nickel set. If they have 4 receivers, you want to go with a dime set. Now let's talk about the type of coverages that you want to pay attention to. These are the best for beginners. First is going to be cover 2 man, the safest coverage in the game. It's man across the board, everybody's accounted for, and you have 2 deep zones, so it's going to be hard to get beat deep. This is probably the safest defense for a beginner, and man defense is definitely better than zone defense in this year's game. So this is something you want to go to if you want to play it safe and you don't want to get too risky out there. Then you've got cover 1 zones, which is a little bit riskier. It's man across the board with 1 deep zone, but you have a robber in the middle of the field. So if they're throwing over the middle a lot, you might want to sneak this in. Then you've got cover 2 zones. Now, mainly you want to stick to plays that say Tampa 2. You don't want to go with like cover 2 invert or cover 2 hard flat. Pick plays that say Tampa 2. This is going to make them have to thread the needle into small windows, kind of keep everything in front of you, make them throw short, and then you can rally down to the ball to make tackles. And lastly, you have cover 3 zone. Now, make sure you're using something that says cover 3 sky or cover 3 hard flat. You don't want to use anything that says cover 3 match. You want to do sky, regular cover 3, or cover 3 hard flat. This is going to help you protect everything deep, make them have to throw it short, and again, kind of rally down to the ball. Number 6, how to blitz. The best way to blitz for a beginner is using man blitzes. You want to have 6 guys rushing because if they're not blocking anybody, you'll have a free rusher. So you can go to the concept tab on your playbook and you can go down to man blitz and it'll show you all the man blitzes in your playbook. Now, what you want to do is you want to look at these plays and you want to see that there are 6 red arrows on it. That means you have 6 guys blitzing. But you want to look at plays like the LB Fire on the left or the Overstorm Brave on the right, for example. Notice all the guys blitzing are close close to the line of scrimmage, whereas the middle play, FS blitz, you've got a deep safety blitzing. That's not what you want. You want everybody to be close to the line so that you get to the QB quicker. Now, you just want to sneak this in from time to time to catch them off guard, because if they're not blocking anybody extra, they're going to have 5 offensive linemen versus your 6 rushers. That means you're going to have an extra guy. Just always note the safety on this play. Sometimes he's misaligned with the running back, so you kind of want to go line him up. You can either user him and watch the running back yourself, or just move him over and then you can get on the D line. And as you can see, you're going to have a free rusher. The best version of this is going to be in the nickel double mug. Most playbooks have a version of this, and it's called mid blitz 0. Just look in your nickel formations and look for anything that says double mug. You want to use mid blitz 0 because everybody, as you can see, is literally right on the D line. So you're going to get to the QB the absolute fastest way. Again, you make sure you want to line up your safety with that running back so that he's not misaligned. And you can see guy off the edge, easy pressure at the QB. Now on the flip side, if you want to block this, you want to make sure you're blocking your running back by pressing wire triangle, selecting his icon, and then pressing the right trigger or the R2 button. This will help you pick it up at least momentarily and allow you the opportunity to deliver a pass. Number 7, get familiar with the abilities. So you can tab over on your main menu to the More tab, and then you can go down to abilities. There's a lot of them in this game, but the more familiar you are with them, the better you'll be, because depending on what type of player you are, you want to make sure you're using teams that have abilities that can help you out. So for example, if you like running the ball, you're going to want to look at the different running abilities that are in the game, like Shifty, which will help you change direction at top speed, or abilities like the Sidestep, which is going to help you get faster, quicker juke animation. So you want to get familiar with the abilities, see which ones you like the best, and then you can go to the rosters and you can see on the bottom right corner, whenever player you're on, it'll tell you the abilities that that player has. So you want to find teams that have abilities that suit your play style. Number 8, accident prevention. So to start with this, let's talk about sliding with your QB. The QB fumbles more than any position in the game. You don't want to take hits with him, especially with the wear and tear system, which could have him get injured and have his ratings drop. To slide, you want to tap the X or the square button, depending on your system. You don't want to hold it. You want to tap it really quickly. This will help him get down and avoid hits. And you can do this with regular players as well. If you're trying to go down to avoid hits, avoid fumbling late in the game or something like that, just tap the X or square button. Now, the next part of accident prevention is blocking the running back versus the blitz, which we literally just talked about, but we're going to talk about it again here because it's a big deal. People like to blitz in this game. They like to send 6 players, and if you're only blocking 5, that is a numbers mismatch. One guy is going to be free, and he's going to get to the QB almost instantly. So right here, you're going to see we're not blocking anybody, and we're getting hit very quickly. Now, to block your running back, like I said previously, you press the wire triangle button, select his icon, and then press the right trigger or R2 button. This will buy you more time to get plays off, and if someone's just blitzing you all game, this is something you definitely want to be doing every play. The last part of accident prevention is containing.
Okay, that's good to know. That's a good counter right there.
Contain by pressing the RB or R1
especially for online players.
If the QB tries to scramble outside, he's going to get clamped like this. You don't want to let QB scramble all day. That's no good. You can also use a QB spy by getting on a linebacker.
Especially, I ain't gonna lie, Mero.
A fast guy. Press the A button on Xbox or X button on PlayStation, and then go left on the right stick. This will put that player in a spy, and he will literally spy the QB. He will watch him and follow him wherever he goes. So if the QB tries to run, the spy is going to be right there to meet him. Number 9, how to audible. Now, when you're on the field, you can audible to a ton of different formations by pressing the X button on Xbox or the square button on PlayStation, and then you will use the D-pad to scroll to different formations. You can audible to any formation that has the same personnel as the formation you came out in. So for example, here we just audible to a completely different formation to a jet touch pass, and this is something you can do to really keep your opponents on their heels. You can scroll through a bunch of different formations. Just be aware of the play clock because your players are going to have to move and adjust, and as you can see, you can audible into a ton of different formations, and each formation you go to, you're going to have 4 options. The first option is typically going to be a quick pass, the second option is going to be a run, the third option is going to be a deep pass, and the last option is going to be a play action, typically. Now, if you want to flip your play, you press the X or square button, and then you press the right trigger or R2 button. This will flip the formation to the opposite side. And if you want to just reset your play back to what you came out in originally, you press the X or square button, and then the left trigger or L2 button, and it'll reset you back to what you broke the huddle with. Number 10, learn to scheme. So for this example, we're going to use the single back deuce close, and our base play that we're going to use here is going to be the halfback stretch. Let's say this is your money play, this is your go-to. It's the play you feel the most comfortable with, getting positive yards every play. You don't want to just spam this every play unless your opponent just has no clue how to stop it, but typically you're going to want to switch it up. This is the play you're going to use that you're going to make them respect, but then you want to start switching it up. So for example, we have a PA stretch shot play in this formation. That is going to be the play action version of the stretch run, and of course you can use your hot routes,
especially if you've been really good running the ball.
You can do what you want, but essentially we're trying to make it look like we're running the stretch, but really now we're running a play action, so they might bite on the run, leaving the pass wide open. Now we're going to look at the run like the halfback zone weak, for example. This will be our inside run. Our main run goes to the outside. Well, now this one goes to the inside. So now we're giving them multiple things to have to think about in different areas of the field. Now we're going to look at a deep passing play like the flood trail, and this attacks the opposite side of the field, whereas a lot of our other stuff was attacking the right side. Now we're going to the left, and now this is just another thing they have to think about. They've got to run to the right. We can run to the left. We can run up the middle. We can play action. We can use this deep pass. And the more plays you add into this, the harder you are to stop. Now to take this to the next level, we can add audibling into this like we talked about. We can actually change up the audibles in our formation. When we open up the formation, we press the left trigger or the L2 button, and these are the preset audibles. But we can select one of these plays, for example, like the zone split weak, and we can put the regular halfback zone here, or we can put a play like the halfback dive here. We can customize it how we want. We can take out this play stick and we can add another passing play here or another running play, whatever you want. You can customize this to your liking. So now when we come out in our halfback stretch run, we have our custom audibles at our disposal here. We can audible to the halfback dive if we want. We can audible to a different play action play. We can audible to our deep passing play like flood. We have all these different things we can go to so that at any given time we can switch it up based on what the defense shows us. Now that you know about all the best basic tips in the game, you're halfway there. Now you need to know about the best playbooks in the game so that
I love this for me personally, especially when he talked about the defense, because I'm one of the things I'm actually really good at with defense is blitzing. So I'm glad that he went over that. With the offense, sliding is one I learned. And the pitch. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anytime I call a pitch play, I never actually know how to pitch the ball. And I know they show it up there, but like by the time I pay attention to it, it's gone. And now I'm like, how did I call this? Like I can count on my hands how many times I've actually succeeded on a pitch play or something to that extent. Maybe only on one hand, to be honest with you, which is that's saying a lot. Saying a lot about your boy. I'm good at Madden and football games. I'm not great. Okay. I have my moment. If you're new to my channel, you can go on my channel right now and you can see some of those moments. You can also see the low lights as well. But I enjoyed this. This was some great tips to win in college football 25. Let me know in the comments below what other tips you have or did any of these help you. That's going to do it for me, guys. Love you guys. See you guys in the next one.